recently we've been having serious fears living in Lagos State, especially because of issues, not just of insecurity, but the fact that nothing seems to happen when an attack occurs a lot of times in Lagos. So recently there have been a lot of news about people being attacked where in the taxis, on traffic, windscreens being smashed, people being pulled out, body parts being cut up in bags. There was a recent one about a young woman who, according to her story, about 8 p.m. in Lagos, Lekki, she was pulled out of a taxi and then pulled into a different car. And they initially stabbed the driver of her taxi. And when they pulled her into a separate vehicle, they touched her breast and then saw that, oh, her breast is not big enough for what they need it for. So then she began to fight for her life. They stabbed her in the ear and her face, and I'm sure you see pictures in a minute. And then she struggled outside through the window and ran for her life. Now, these are experiences that many of us have. We know somebody that knows somebody. Like the stories are getting closer. And this morning, we want to just talk to ourselves and remind ourselves on how we must keep safe. It would be great to have one of the government members, government officials to come and tell us what they're doing. But we want to hear Nigerians first. Then we can bring in government officials later to tell us exactly what can be done or what they're doing to secure lives and property within Lagos State especially. But please call us on 081-270-53687 and 091-390-76948. You can also send your messages to Facebook, and so we can hear, and YouTube, and send your messages so that we can also share your experiences, because it's important for us to have a show where we tell our leaders what we are going through. They might hear these stories and think some of them are trumped up. But we need to hear Nigerians speak and tell us their experiences. Let me start with, Miriam. You have an experience that you want to share with us?
Yes, I've had an experience, but not recently, but years ago. But the funny thing is that particular place on Onabanda Bridge is where a lot of the reports are coming from. So many years till today, we still have people being attacked on that bridge and in that area. People robbed of their phones. I mean, recently I was trying to get in touch with someone. I tried for many days. Finally, she said, oh, I was robbed. I'm like, you are the third person in 7 days that has told me that they have been robbed. There are people that I know that have been robbed of their phones. Luckily for these people, they were not attacked or killed or, maimed. And the truth is, when I'm on that bridge, so I try to, do my life in such a way that I'm outside earlier in the day than much later, just so that you do not fall into the hands of these people. And the thing is, this bridge, there's so much work going on, so there's traffic. There's nothing you can do about that traffic. But I'm hoping to see more. Sometimes when you get to the end of the bridge, usually whatever would have happened at the top of the bridge. And then when you get to the end of the bridge, you see 1 or 2 officials. And the thing is, knowing the reports that have been coming from that area, you would expect more security presence on that bridge, all across the Eco Bridge, because Eco Bridge too has been diverted, road has been diverted, so the traffic is just a lot there. Recently also, a few days ago, I heard that most of these hoodlums had moved on to Third Mainland Bridge, because of course people are trying to move away from the diversions on the Eco Bridge and using the other bridges, and they have gone onto those bridges because of traffic. We need to do better. I know that the government cannot be everywhere, but you're hearing constantly from people their stories, and the least you can do really is make sure that there's security presence along that bridge, and we will scare them off at least.
There was a time we used to have security on Third Mainland Bridge. They were there, quite spread out.
There used to be even
the RRS points.
Yes, RRS points also across the state. So we had that, but also I think it was Governor was saying recently that many of the police officers have retreated because some of them are scared of their life. Some of them are ill-equipped. They don't have enough apparatus to actually fight these people. So they're also fighting for their own lives too. So it's crazy right now because people, both the security operatives and the people, are scared. So who's going to protect who?
That's the dangerous thing you just said.
But we must know that the morale is low.
Yes.
The morale
I know recently they recently commissioned
officials.
quite a number of equipment for the police. I know that recently I could see some of in the newspapers. So we're hoping that more of them will be equipped. But remember, security really is in the purview of the federal government. What we're doing in the state is just adding to what we already have. So That's why we keep talking about this decentralization. We need to, rather the regional policing or something has to do to give to ensure that we have the capacity to secure our territories.
Yeah, my own is, you know, because I think it's so, I'm here, even yesterday, my nephew was talking about someone was robbed in front of him yesterday in the traffic. Someone that's a supplier of mine, I called him, he didn't even know who he was, and I was like, then he says, who is this? And I called, he said, sorry, my phone, I was attacked. In fact, I've just left the hospital. I was attacked on Friday. He's been in hospital since Friday. You know, so it's happening to people that we know. It's happening to everybody. We need a solution. What is this? So I want us to use this platform. Let us now try to advise the government. Please do this and do this and save our lives.
Remember when Ashiraju had his colloquium in Abuja? Was it Kano or Abuja? He was saying that the last colloquium he had, he was saying that he sent the federal government to hire 50 million. He said 50 million, but then he came back and said, no, he didn't mean 50 million. He meant like about 5 million. But the idea is that we need more hands. But if we hire the hands, do we have enough to equip them? Do we have enough cars, security, enough ammunition to equip them with? Those are different issues. But we need more people across the states. That is a given.
So my initial thoughts for security challenges is the fact that I know the governor is aware. I've watched his recent interviews. The governor of Lagos State is aware that there are security challenges within Lagos State. I hope he understands the gravity of the situation, because many people don't report. Many people don't trust the police system, so they don't even bother. So just go treat themselves. I've lost my phone and my life, let me just go. This particular picture we showed went viral because a friend recorded what happened and he posted it. That's the only reason. There are several happening. Putting that aside, I recollect clearly that there was a time in Lagos that we had major insecurity challenges to robbery, people coming to your house, burglary. And how that was solved was when Lagos had like a very good handshake with the RRS team. The Rapid Response Team was created, and they now had the responsibility of being positioned strategically within reach. And with the phone call, you could get across to them. And they were very motivated and they were very active. We cannot deny that after NSAS, the police is demoralized. We as Nigerians must tell ourselves the truth that we have already, yes, some of them were bad, but now we have demoralized the system. Can we now find a proper system to encourage our police officers? That's one side of the solution. Second side of the solution is that there is a large unemployed population within Lagos loitering around. You cannot have that people on the streets and you think you'll be safe. Your CCTV camera is useless, Mr. Governor, because I read the solution. The solution was that we'll use technology, we'll have cameras. They will break your cameras. You will spend millions putting CCTV cameras around. You will spend millions lighting up the states. They will destroy your infrastructure because they are hungry. So if we don't solve the basic needs of human beings, whatever beautiful edifice you build will be destroyed by the hungry men on the streets. So let's go back and implement a proper strategy to feed people, to employ people. And that way, we can then reduce the spiral effects of robberies and stuff that would happen later.
But that is a long-term solution. We're talking of the now solution. And everybody is in danger now. So there's nobody. I mean, you guys struggled, got me a new car. I'm afraid to drive it. That's the truth.
That's the truth. I can totally understand that. Okay, let me go into pre-break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still on the issue of insecurity, especially in Lagos State. And I know that the governor did identify that one of the major issues in Lagos State is cultism. These guys go out around machete people. You know, they have their machetes, and they're there harming innocent citizens and taking up their phones and their properties. And I know that one of the things that we have security operatives in Lagos State share with us is the fact that they do try to make arrests. Now, because SARS was disbanded, SARS, as you know, are usually plain clothes. So they can infiltrate these cultists, it's called cultists, and then know who the perpetrators are and arrest them. But now SARS have been disbanded. They are police officers. They have to go around in uniforms and their vehicles. And once they come around, they run away.
Will comport.
Yeah. Now, still, they are able to make some arrests, even though they make some arrests. Because Josu was on strike, You can't charge them to court. So within 24, 48 hours, you have to release them. So it's like a activity in futility. You do all the major to arrest them, and then you still have to let them go. So we now have, that's how, there's a ripple effect of just on strike. We can't have, we can't have the SARS, the plainclothes policemen. We can't have the plainclothes, the investigators, crime investigators. And all this is what we're seeing, where these guys can go on the street, know that within 48 hours, they can be released and they're back on the road again.
So it's important that when, like Jusun was on strike, we should have heard everybody's voice. Yeah. Because they left them to their strike, like, this is your problem. I mean, if you're part of the crime fighting and prosecution, yes, you must speak up as well, because it affects your job. It affects everyone. The governor should have stood up and spoken. I mean, governors across should have, not always about, because what will happen is you will now start hearing, well, you people were on strike, and that is why the problem happened. There are problems almost everywhere. Many people are asking for demand so that they are better able to carry out their duties. They're asking for independence so they're better able to do what they are meant to do. And we just go silent on them. We give them, and they are, you know, on strike for months and months on end. And then the effect of that is insecurity all over. And we're able to sit down quietly. And just to say, well, they were on strike and we had to let them go, is not enough. We should have done something quickly. Now, when we say that plainclothes SARS has been disbanded, and you see, that's another thing. I get it may have been disbanded, but that did not mean that people were saying that you should not put another apparatus in place to stop the gap. We also have always had plainclothes policemen. We've always known that. So when we say because there's no longer SARS, then crime is right.
They tried to put in something else, and we all went against it. What was that one?
Yeah, because
no, I don't want that. That should not be. That's not an excuse. We're talking about police brutality on the one hand, and that's what it was about. When the people said, okay, disband it for so reason, the federal government, state government, people who are in the business of protecting lives should know that it's important to plug that hole and not just leave it vacant.
Exactly. Please, I wanted to address something else. There are some flashpoints. Like, there are places that we know are flashpoints. They rob there every day. They are known. There are some localities that you know these are called, there's always cult fracas. Bariga is always, there are cult people there.
Badore.
You know, we know those areas. So when it cannot, the Commissioner of Police in Lagos State, the governor cannot be unaware. They are supposed to have security briefings. I watched this interview and they said the Neighborhood Watch gave reports on abandoned buildings and all of that. And for me, I'm like, if you have this information, then we plug the holes. I remember an interview with Fashola, former governor of Lagos, saying that they knew where these areas were, and they specifically got the trucks, the Hilux trucks, and put them in those areas so that there is a show of power. And then they had the, it wasn't blaring, but the lights would be rolling. So that area knows that this area is covered. You don't try yourself in this zone. We have those locations within Lagos. Of course, we cannot cover everywhere because the real issue is they will migrate. But we can reduce the immediate crisis.
So how do I reduce it? So I arrest you. I go there.
No, you deter.
Within 24 hours, you
deter, Morayo. What we're trying to do now is not arrest. How many people are we going to arrest? We deter. The reason people clashes are flourishing is because they know that they can't be arrested, they cannot be tried, and nobody is watching them. You will do what you can do, but when you know you'll be arrested.
How do you deter when you're not ill-equipped?
I mean, our problems are many.
No, but we've bought now. Lagos State has acquired.
20 million people, 23 million people in Lagos State.
And that was why somebody on Facebook was saying that.
From Hassan. Hassan, are you there?
Yes, good morning, everybody.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Please, we should recognize one thing. We are in serious trouble in this country.
Already know.
And as far as security is concerned, in Lagos State, there's a problem. After the answer, I live in Lekki. I live in the middle of Lekki. I knew what causes answer. But some people came in with their hidden agenda. And what we are now experiencing is a total breakdown of law and order. And I'm telling you this, everybody should rise up and defend themselves. Anything happening to your neighbor, anything happening to somebody standing by you, we should all come together and fight it. Because we should not allow criminals to take charge of Lagos. That is what I'm saying. And secondly, we are always talking against government. And we are inviting anarchy. And when that energy comes, it will consume all of us. Because what I'm seeing, I'm not seeing really glimpse of a state by the state government after the answer. We should cooperate with government to have a grip on the state. What you are seeing about these ritual killings we are seeing around is an extension of Yahoo Plus. And those guys are very much around. We should stand up. We should not wait for police. Around us, everybody should come out. These people are very few compared to our population.
So we should have daggers.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you. So it goes back to the issue of decentralization, YK, because this is where I keep reading. No matter how much you do this thing, we have Lagos State Neighborhood Watch. They are ill-equipped. We have
They don't even have a right to carry ammunition.
They're not equipped for that work. Their own job is neighborhood watch, just riding your bicycle around to be observing and then giving
intelligence.
But the point is, what we need is more than that.
Yes.
We need proper security who are armed, because our state is too large. It's like almost a whole country,
But
20 million people.
Defense. Then there's civil defense.
Civil defense. You see, these are all under
federal. They are all federal.
We need some kind of control.
Even when I was saying that they should create employment, all of that, somebody on Facebook, I can't find the message, said that everybody is coming to Lagos. How many people will Lagos employ? People, if you employ 1 million people today, another 1 million will flock into Lagos. So it has to be, every state needs to take responsibility for taking care of its citizens, so that there will be no mass migration or people that will now become potential criminals within Lagos State.
Or every family should donate one person
there
to
used
security.
To be a time when you hear streets have vigilantes.
Yeah.
I think that's where we'll finally end up going.
Maybe I should go and buy that put inside the car.
Yes.
We'll now
All of us need to help
In our area,
ourselves.
there were vigilantes.
Yes.
You know, there were every night during that insecurity issue, during the NSAS, because people were just robbing. But can I take some tubes?
Yes, while you're talking to I need to also remember what...
they are tubes. Don't tweet, so they are tubes.
Let me also remember what Nima said. You see, it's been great for us to let us take laws into our own hand, have daggers, but Nima will always remind us that, are we in a democracy or not? If we're in a democracy, there is a process. How? Get your lawmakers to change the laws on time. There's too much talking. You're still flying around the place doing constitutional review. What we need urgently is the decentralization of the police. ASAP. Once that is done, all that is regional policing or state policing. People say some states say they can't afford it. Fine. Let us have regional, where the other regions support you. But we cannot have the current structure right now because it's not functional. They come with all these political reasons. Hey, you see, the government will take over. We don't see that debate. But I don't know. Maybe it's time for us now to begin to look at it.
Would the problem be that we have a lot of unemployed youth? We always say that. So is the problem that we do not have many people that want to join the police force? One. Or is it a problem that when they do join the police force, we do not have enough to train them? Because coming out of school, or I don't understand the level of education where is needed before you can join the police force. Thirdly, when they do join and they're trained, how much do we have to invest in arms and ammunition, in, arming them? So these issues, 1, 2, 3, there are just so many layers. And it seems that every time you go to the federal government is broke. We are broke. We cannot even pay the salaries of those who are currently in the service.
When you talk about decentralization as well, you have to think that even if they say today, oh yeah, Lagos State employ people, and you go and employ 1 million young boys, and you don't do background checks on them, they are the ones that you will now equip with the guns to come and kill you. So you have to be careful, because security is very, very, very dicey. You have to be careful who you employ.
Absolutely.
So
Let me take this call.
what we are looking for immediate solutions that tomorrow I can drive my new car and not be afraid.
I can take some tubes.
Yes, let me take some tubes. Yeah. Frozen Elsa says, hot topic, robberies. Nigerians leave everything in the hands of government too much. Nigerians will be watching other Nigerians being robbed in traffic and they will just ignore.
What should I do?
Emerald Ayeni says, how many people have to die before we... Oh, I don't want to read that one. Robberies, insecurity, Andrew Chatham, police and women, and just general anarchy. Something will have to give. Nigeria is not different from the rest of the human race. Frozen Elsa again says, when we say Nigerians were shouting that it is mostly people that were on the wrong side of the law that started the NSAS. You people said we were stupid.
Adeton Adepoju says, banning NSAS is not the reason why they can't arrest boys. It's basically because most of the hoodlums are political thugs. Adeton Adepoju still says, how many of the hoodlums did SARS arrest? They kept harassing innocent folks instead of the criminals. Even men of SARS were always putting on SARS T-shirts so you could identify them. Once again, she's saying that the crime has been there before NSAS, so folks shouldn't blame it on the protest. Now, yeah, a few weeks, no, last year, around that, shortly after, before the NSAS situation happened, there was traffic around Ojota turning up, and the person ahead of me, the car ahead of me, they were like, if 4 guys ganged up by the screen, and they were hitting it that, give us something, give us something. I sat within my car and I was just praying that, can this traffic just move so that I can escape? So when the person is putting a message on YouTube and saying, Nigerians would watch, what was I supposed to do? I would get down and say, okay, let me go and face those boys so that they will now break my head or what? Like, we don't have, it's not for lack of willingness to try and help. It's the fact that we don't even have the capacity to, and these people have nothing to lose. So you might think that you're able to do something, but you are the one with not to lose.
Okay, because, sorry, Mariah, Frozen Elsa says we should help other people. I was watching a video. The woman beside this guy had just been robbed. She was crying in her car. And the guy was filming that, look at this woman, she has just been robbed. Hey, look, in this traffic. And he was filming her in her misery. You know, are we, what are we turning to?
Yeah, well, I remember when I was robbed, no one helped us. I mean, they were just looking at us and looking like, oh, as they put the gun through whatever, and we had to just give our phones. And
Andrew is asking if people don't have YouTube handles, so you can all tube.
All right, let's go on a break now. We'll come back and move on to other topics. Stay with us, we'll be right back.